Okay. Yeah, any questions on previous sessions? Any of the things? Okay, maybe I assume no questions, but today we'll go with the last concept, GRC system refresh. So this um, it's a kind of a same whatever the activities which we were performing for the installation, probably the same set of activities, but only we can modify the existing data. So for fresh implementation, probably we need to reconfigure. But whereas system refresh, we just need to change the connector details or all the configurations. We just need to change the respective target system details. Okay, but before going to system refresh, generally companies why it will perform means maybe for the production to quality, or maybe project landscape to support landscape. Every quarter or maybe every 6 months, they want to refresh the changes, the complete changes. The installation and everything, it will take time, so that instead of that, they will use the system refresh strategy. They will refresh the systems. Assume this is one of the scenario where we are displaying. So ideally, the data is from QA system to dev system. A source is double quality system, and target is a development system. So the development systems, whatever the GRC system which is integrated, all the systems that was already configured, and the development system, the GRC operations in terms of access risk analysis, access request management, EAM, and whatever the BRM configurations which we are doing. So everything will be already working, and the operations will go smooth end to end. But whereas during the refresh, what it will do, as soon as we will perform the system refresh, the connector names, QA connector names, the configuration will be replaced with development configurations. So all the development connectors will be wiped out, and instead of development systems, the QA system integrations will be exist in development system. You understand? So earlier the development system is integrated with uh, BW. So development BW system, development ECC system, development GRC system, like this. But after system refresh, what will happen? The development system will be existing the system details, BW. So QEC, QGRC system, QSRM system, Q portal system. I just want to make sure that we need to check the system connector details. If the same system names will be maintained, then there is no issue, the associated systems. But generally, we will follow the dev to dev system strategy, quality to quality system, and production to production system integration or association of the systems. So in this case, the development system is now integrated with, after system refresh, the system details are QA system details. But some of the LDAP, I just meant some systems probably, if we want to make a same system, LDAP, like a development and quality system is sharing the common LDAP. So generally companies, they will do strategy. Sometimes production LDAP system will be different. Development and quality, it is a common LDAP system. So that is the reason I just maintained LDAP, the connector name. Since it is the same name and common sharing, the complete uh, configuration is the same. So we don't need to change anything with respect to configurations in development system. So that is the reason I have made one connector. Maybe similarly for quality, sorry, some of the portal systems, some of the systems are also common sharing systems. Probably we need to make sure that whatever the common systems, we won't do any configuration, but wherever the configuration will be changed after system refresh, suppose it is QBW100, but ideally system would be development BW system. So we just need to replace all the connector configurations, like starting from connector configurations, we need to perform all set of configurations. Apart from that, we need to establish a dummy RFC connections. Till connector configurations we will create, even though the development system will be development systems as well as the quality systems. We will configure all the connector configurations in the RFC connections. Why? Because after system refresh, the data, the table data will be populated from quality system. You are modifying the connector configuration in the development system, but in the table perspective, after replacing the systems, even though you have replaced the systems, but the table data is still exist for the quality. If you want to remove those entries, you need to create a dummy RFC connections for development to quality system. Then you need to delete those table entries in the system. Sync data mainly, because it's the system refresh, right? So mainly you need to delete the sync related data. Any questions? I'm stopping here.
Girish, actually, we stopped doing the refresh because of so many issues we are getting
No,
it
no, no. That
from last four
anyway,
years.
I will see.
Yeah.
This is the complete process. The starting itself, I can say there are a lot of inconsistencies in the system. I cannot start, right.
Yeah.
Once I will explain, I will explain the truths. Okay.
Rules. Okay.
First, I will explain the process. Later, I will explain the
Okay.
issues or inconsistencies. Because see, the one of the inconsistency is, now we are talking about inconsistencies. One of the inconsistencies is generate SOD rules. You need to execute this program to clear the physical, because your data system data is now development system is integrated with all the QA systems. So you need to establish dummy RFC connections so that everything will be ready, the systems. So first you need to execute the delete access rules. So it will remove almost most of the tables data from the development system, all the QA related informations, delete SOD rules, all the sync tables and related provisioning tables, everything it will be cleared. As soon as the development data will be cleared, automatically the associated provisioning tables also, because of the data is wiped out from the system, all the table data will be deleted. Now, after the dummy RFC connections and table cleanup is completed, then we need to reconfigure. So wherever the QBW system, we need to change to DBW. Like all the connector configurations, we will go for everything, each and every step. We start with the connector configurations. We go, I think, consider this is the quality system. So what we will do, we will change to this entry. We will remove this entry, and I cannot replace actually. So that is the reason I have removed. So whatever the existing entry, probably we'll see. You can change this entry, right? So I think I will make it GRC 100, right? Okay. G12. Okay. Probably you can take this entry. I'm not able to replace. Okay. I think you cannot change, but you can remove, and only few places you can change, but rest of the few configurations you can update. Like NWBC, probably you need to change, you can directly edit, but connector configurations you need to reconfigure with the old system, all the steps with the development systems. You need to start with first RFC connections, then you need to check the SU3 WF batch user, whether the batch user all the details are properly updated. LDAP configuration, like integrations you need to check as a part of RFC connections. Similarly, you can check the LDAP configuration, whether the LDAP config transaction code, all the details are existing or not. And similarly, portal related, the connector configurations and the mapping, because the external systems, which is the main source. So that is the reason we will maintain all the integrations first. We will complete, and WF batch user is the main source. Now SAP WF RCT. So that user, the latest user, or you can validate the WF batch user status. So first we will complete these integrations, RFC integrations. Then slowly we will start working on the normal connector configurations. Suppose say in the ECC system, suppose there are two, mainly we need to check with respect to, I had just considered as ECC system, but if it is SRM, CRM, whatever the above based systems, all the above based system, the firefighter ID role is existing or not, we need to check. And also the plugin settings. So that is, okay. Suppose assume this is a plugin system. So in the plugin system, we need to go to plugin configurations. I think it was not maintained. So probably, so so the parameter value plugin system is, so ECC connector, any ECC connector. So we will maintain the ECC system here. Second, 1001 entry. Ideally, these entries will be maintained. So whatever the GRC system. So G12. So like this, these two.
Girish, we need to maintain in the plugin system, not the GRC system, correct?
No. This is, I'm just showing example.
Oh, just your example, okay.
Within GRC system also there is a plugin, right? We need to work on firefighter. So here this 4000 application type, where the firefighter role, we can maintain the firefighter application type is ID based.
Role ID or role, correct?
Yeah, ID based. So the 4010 firefighter ID role name we will maintain here. So we need to make sure that the firefighter role name is maintained, and if it is a HR trigger, okay, in the plugin systems, the 1003 should be S, enable HR trigger. The value is S. So that is what we're talking about here. So it will verify ECC system, it will verify GRC system, it will verify HR trigger. So it will validate the portal 4000 and 4010 role, and it will validate the HR triggers existing in ECC system. So in the ECC system, not in GRC, but in the ECC system, these parameters should be exist. As soon as it will identify the ECC and GRC system, then yes, the HR trigger, whatever the data, HR master data modifications, then automatically it will trigger one job, that interface, standard interface to integrate with GRC, and we are configuring HR triggers in GRC system, then GRC requests, whether the termination, hire, rehire, leave of absence, everything. So in case in our GRC system, the configuration is exist, so we need to make sure that we have to check. And this is a very crucial step with respect to production when you are performing production system refresh. The problem is you are creating dummy RFC connections. The first step we discussed. So you created a dummy RFC connection for production systems, and after completing the data cleanup, you need to remove these RFC connections. If you are not doing this, then your GRC system, the development GRC system, assume this is a production, this is the development. Your production system, GRC system, whatever the associated HR systems, everything, that is now integrated to GRC development system. So in case of any operations, HR related data performed in ECC system, because of the RFC and as well as the plugin settings in the ECC development system, you have not modified. We are still maintained production ECC and production GRC system after system refresh. It will trigger to production system. The users gets terminated, which will be another issue. So make sure that as soon as the configuration, when we are planning and designing the activity strategy, so make sure that we will include ECC system activities, and make sure that while performing validation starting, not only GRC system, we need to perform the set of activities in ECC system and make sure that the activities are completed as soon as possible. Because once we completed the configuration, automatically what we will do end-to-end validations. So whenever we change the record in ECC system, automatically it will trigger to production system, and it will delete the record or terminate the record. So make sure that this is somewhat critical step. Make sure that if the HR triggers is configured in the landscape, probably we need to complete the set of activities and firefighter. So once this is completed, all the basic configurations are completed or validated, integrations and the basic configurations. Then, as usual, the basic activities like BC set activation, SCIF activation, all doesn't require, because it is anyway refreshed from GRC system. All we just need to validate. maintain application, the BC sets, and skiff, the basic roles, everything is appropriate or not, whether the roles or profiles were generated or not, whether all the details are appropriate or not. We need to check, make sure that the data, but will generally won't touch those standard configuration, default configuration. We'll start with connector configuration, and configuration settings and connector configurations. All the
So,
setups.
Grish, can you hear me?
Sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Grish, what you're talking about is if they do a system refresh, we need to go check the whole configuration again, correct?
Yes. We need to reconfigure the complete system.
Okay.
We need to reconfigure the complete system with the new data, like whatever the old data that is replaced with QA system. After QA system, then we need to replace with development systems. So here we need to complete the connector configurations. So first, general settings. This is what I'm talking about. So whether the basic settings, whether it is exist or not, we need to check. If not, then probably we will leave it. We need to start from common component settings, connector configuration. We need to configure the connectors, connector groups, everything. Once that is completed, then we will check the integration scenario.
No.
It's a kind of a
So,
reconfiguration.
So, Grish, we have to do all over again?
Yes, all over. Because, see.
Then what's the point of doing a system refresh? That I'm not very clear.
The new change, right? See, this is QA system. QA system is assume this is a project landscape. Project landscape cannot include these changes, right? Whatever the enhancements, again, if the same set of activities we need to go with the production landscape, we need to do first freeze all the changes. First thing. Second, we need to, after implementing the software installation, then again we need to perform same set of configuration. The same set of configuration need to perform testing in each individual system. So again, it is a time-consuming activity. So that is the reason companies. That is the reason companies what they will do. They will refresh whatever the tested, all the applications from whatever the completed system. They will just do the refresh, so that the system will be replaced with all the refresh data. So all the latest data along with configuration. So all we just need to do, see, if it is a ECC, then we don't need to go with this much configuration. Only very few configurations we will perform in the ECC system. But whereas a GRC system, it is completely not independent system. It is completely, the configuration is set up dependent on other systems, right? Integration point of view. So all we just need to do, reconfigure the complete configuration and make sure that it will be work as expected, same as previous. That is only one drawback. If it is ECC system, only the data refresh, after system refresh, we just need to check the users and roles. Any additional roles will be fine, but it cannot override old roles. And user count, only we will take the dumps from user and roles and user assigned roles. That's it. But GRC is completely the out of scope. Like it is completely integration, and it is the associated systems are third party systems, you can say. So it needs to be reconfigured. That is the reason GRC refresh, system refresh, it may take at least 2 to 3 weeks time to reconfigure the complete system set of data. But
great. So that means what statement just made, that means for 3 weeks they cannot use GRC then?
They cannot do. The system is a freeze,
Okay.
blackout period, we can say. We took the
Oh.
we will explain the complete downtime. Customer, we will explain to customer and we'll take the downtime at least 1 or 2
But
weeks.
is this the best practice?
Yeah, see,
Okay.
if it is assume, okay, you are working on some project, okay, suppose a new system integration, okay, that needs to be tested, everything, the configuration, the software installed and configuration completed, testing completed, and it needs to go to live, right? It will take some time, project minimum 3 to 4 months time, right? And ideally companies, they won't disturb their normal landscape. So in this case, what they will do, they will prefer system refresh. But there are a lot of issues, data inconsistency issues will be there. So that is a different point. Yeah, you're saying something? Okay. Now we will complete the connector configuration and data source configuration. Data source, if it is the same LDAP, sharing LDAP, there is no problem, or any portal or any other systems. Probably we need to make sure that the data source configuration is appropriate. And since the same set of activity configuration and we don't depend on system related information, so all we just need to generate MSNP. So because that is also same uh, extensively using the system, and same version we will use in the development, maybe some additional enhancement. Apart from that, nothing. So uh, we will not maintain any system connector related or any information. So all we just need to generate a MSNP work. We just need to activate. Probably SCU3. SCU3 is, there is a chances for SCU3 where some of the set of activities might be comes to red color because of the WF batch user has stopped to schedule the jobs, or because of the WF batch user status they are not reactive, so this RFC connection comes to red color. Probably there is a chances. So all we just need to is SW3, we need to check the status. So if it is, as soon as this is active, then only probably your workflows will go smooth. Otherwise, it will throw some errors. So we need to make sure that the SW3 should be active. And Scott, like during the system refresh as a prerequisite activity, we will remove the, we will stop the Scott settings. So make sure that that should be reactive and appropriate. Once this state is based on the SW3 status, the background jobs, we need to validate background jobs. Then for a firefighter perspective, we need to, the systems were mapped. So we need to reconfigure the systems because the reason code is a system set of activity. So we need to reactivate. And firefighter owners and controllers with respect to systems. But I think you may have remember last time we have discussed one program. Cleanup program. So this is generally we will use in terms of cleanups. So since the systems, suppose say the quality system has 30 firefighter IDs, This is also 100 firefighter IDs. Maybe this is also 100 firefighter IDs. So each time we need to go, the approvers might change. So we need to reconfigure. We cannot directly change and map the connector. It will take some time. So you want to wipe out the complete configuration, firefighter configuration. Then we can use this program, JRC underscore SPM underscore cleanup. So, but make sure that this is a very powerful. As soon as you enter, it will automatically clean up the table entries as well. So it will remove the complete configuration, firefighter owners, controllers, the logs, uh, the reason codes with respect to system. Everything it will remove. So we generally having around 900 firefighter IDs will be there in our last project. So we will make sure that we cannot go each individual and the different owners, different regions. So probably we will use this program to wipe out the complete existing configuration. Then we will reconfigure the same set of 900 because the firefighter IDs, the owners were different. So it cannot easy to change the connector. Each person we need to go and map the appropriate firefighter IDs. So it is very difficult for us. So owners and controllers, because of this, even you can have an option to select only the owners and controllers firefighter log because we don't require those. And in case of you need any such information, you can select appropriate data with respect to connector. So you can wipe out the complete configuration. Later you can reconfigure the data.
So Girish, basically we select all the options what we have in the program, right?
Yes, we can use. See, the firefighter.
What is your recommendation? Yeah.
The owners might be different, but the controller only 2% or 3%. So then in this case, we will use select only owners. We don't require controllers. So all it is depends on the data options. But we have a 900 firefighter IDs, 120 firefighter owners, and around 130 firefighter controllers. So in this case, I cannot go and check each person the complete details, right? Instead of that, we will already take it back up. So the same data we will be mapping. We will go each user, maybe 12, 13 firefighter IDs, we will map to owners and controllers.
Right. So the question is like Girish, so here when it says the clean up the SPM database, right? So whatever you select that will be wiped off. Is that right statement?
Yes.
Okay. So in this case, we don't need logs only, right? We just keep it, nothing wrong in it, right?
No.
Just logs, we don't need it.
The problem is earlier the system is set of this data, right? After system refresh, the data will be stored here like this. There is no data. Okay. Now the development system is refreshed with quality system data, and the file logs and everything will be exist in development system. We don't require, right, that data. We are using generate rule set job to remove the sync data. But anyway, firefighter data would be there, right? Some of the tables. How we gonna delete those data? So in this case, you can use this program and you can clean up, so that it will be normal. As soon as you configure, the data will be developed after after configuration. Now it is with the development system. So we don't require quality system. There is a two possible challenges. One is the quality system data exists in development system, which we never use, and table spaces and performance. So by considering all these, we will remove the table logs as well. Anyway, the quality system table logs existing in quality system only. No? Why would require in development system? So because of this reason, we will clean up the complete SPM database. And this is a very powerful program. Within fraction of seconds, it will clean up the complete firefighter related configuration. Mapping and audit logs, everything. And whenever one system is removed or one system is deactivated from the landscape, that time we will use this program for a cleanup prospect, because we will have a facility to select the connector. I will select this system. I will clean up. After archiving and everything completed, audit completed, we want to remove the data. We will completely clean up the integration data. Then generate rule set. So the generate rule set means, so the same set of data, but all we just need to is, because the same rule set we will be using. So we will execute the generate rule set job to make sure that it is a system to avoid inconsistencies once the connector configuration completed along the connector groups and all the data. So we will do the generate rule set so that everything, the risks were active. And in case from the ARM perspective, any user defaults that needs to be configured, we can configure. And for HR triggers, in case of any action IDs or anything in the provisioning settings, will complete. But there are some common configurations. I have highlighted only very few because it is with respect to system, it will be changed. But the provisioning settings, like normal provisioning settings, it cannot change because that is a normal configuration. So in the user provisioning, so there's request types, the provisioning settings. It is not with respect to system. Only if local system is there, then only it will be. Otherwise, the same configuration will exist in the system. So that is the reason we have not maintained the common configuration activities. Only the systems which are reflected in different systems, that is where we need to make sure that our system refresh and update default roles, and we will extract the master data and owners with respect to system. And finally, we will validate the end-to-end work. So this test scenarios probably will have any test cases developed for each GRC perspective, maybe 30-40 for a risk analysis, end-to-end request, approve delegation request, email notifications, then probably a risk simulation, dashboard reports. So like how we have developed the test cases, firefighter end-to-end configuration, firefighter owner approval, controller approval, the review logs, region codes, business role management, like roles import, everything. So all these test cases again we will be re-executed. Once everything completed and configuration is expected, then probably we will release the system. Like user details will be being populated after the data source. We are trying to submit the request. Then the complete user details and email notifications will be going on. All the background jobs. So it's a kind of a reconfiguration of complete GRC system as an opportunity, but on a high level, whatever the connectors with respect to systems. So only those areas we will be primarily concentrate for the system refresh. And for background jobs, generally we need to recreate the variants to schedule the background jobs. So this is
So Grish,
yeah.
So Grish, the variant which you shared earlier on cannot be used?
No, that is 300. No, that can be replaced, right?
Okay. I got you.
The data will be what we will do. You are creating variant for DBW system. Okay. Now, after system refresh, the systems will be like this. Everything will be quality. So, the quality variants will be there. So, we need to delete those variants or we need to recreate with the development system. The variants. So, the new variants will be created and reschedule the sync jobs. I forgot to mention here. Generate workflow and BRF plus sometimes BRF plus we need to validate. BRF plus why? Because sometimes system, because in our previous landscape system specific, that is a company code specific. So that is the reason we were not look for much on BRF plus. But some of the companies, they will trigger the workflow based on the system. Production system is different. Based on the system, they will trigger the workflow. They will select the pod. So in this case, we need to make sure that BRF plus connectors. So we need to check. So if it is the quality system, probably we need to replace with the development connectors. So any questions?
Got it, Grish.
So Girish, generally the refresh takes place QA, right? Something like not from dev to QA, right? So
it's mainly production to QA, production to development.
Development you don't do it, right? Because we never do refresh development data.
No. That is the reason. Source system always a production or quality, or maybe project landscape quality. One of the quality system that will be replaced with development systems. So the strategy might be so prod generally. Prod to dev or prod to QA or maybe landscape perspective, project landscape to support any of the system, maybe project QA to support QA, then project QA to development. So like this, or dev to dev, probably that is also fine. Project dev to normal development, support development system.
You're talking of N+1 Girish over here, N+1 then?
Yes, we can say N+1 is the project landscape, N is the support landscape.
Okay.
Generally in the terminology. So you can use any of the things. N is a production landscape, N+1 is project landscape. So N+1 to N.
So Grish, I have a question. Why do people go to N and N+1? What's the reason behind that?
No, they cannot wait for, see, they want to change majority of the configurations during the project landscape. right? This time, all the whatever the current support operations, like current configurations, they need to keep it hold, right? Because of dependency. The changes will, until unless it needs to be tested, the new functionalities, which has some dependent objects in the system, right? Suppose you are working on one role, okay? Role A, security point of view. So somehow there is a project that needs to be enhanced, that needs to be created 30 new roles, and along with the 10 existing roles, and one of the role is role A out of 10 existing roles. Okay, so we cannot change the role A until the changes will move to production, right? There is a dependency.
No, explaining again. I don't follow you. You say we are already working with role A in environment N, right?
Okay, this is a existing role. Okay, you are working on role A. This is a new role based on the new requirement.
Okay.
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 And out of existing out of 10 roles, existing roles, role A is the one of the role. So as a project, you need to modify the complete 40 roles. Okay. Now, if you are using same N environment, okay, till development completed, quality, it needs to be tested and end user needs to be tested, then this role move to production, right? Otherwise, the role A needs to keep hold. But whatever the current issues in production system, support mode, the landscape, they required emergency changes on role A. How would you deal with this situation?
So that you do it in N+1, correct?
So that is the reason. This is only one change I have explained. In terms of configuration, in terms of any other functional dependencies, they cannot keep hold, right? Okay, for a security wise, okay, the role, whatever the role, when you are moving to role to production system, you can revert the changes, only one role. Then once it is moved to production to fix the emergency issue, then again you can revert the enhancement for a project perspective. But how many times you can do? Within 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. There is a lot of changes that needs to be fixed, right? Issues.
So if I understand you right, we have an N environment, which is where you do the development that moves to QA and that goes to production. So once in production, you have N+1 environment where you can do super enhancement, and that can be moved to the production later on, correct?
That is what the companies they will do now. So that is the reason they have developed two landscapes. One is an landscape production. They can modify everything, and they will, whatever they need to do, they can do modify, and they can move the objects along a weekly release or monthly release or bi-weekly release. But as a project landscape, the same set of environment, they will configure complete configuration, and maybe every 6 months or every 3 months they want to move their objects, they can move the release.
Won't it overwrite what you already have in the production?
No, Manpreet, I can explain.
I'm not very clear.
I can explain, Girish. So Manpreet, at the end of the day, all the systems are in sync.
Correct.
Okay, so when you move the role from N to N, for example, production support, what Girish was saying, that role goes to NQA, okay, and again it goes to N stage, and then you retrofit into N based on the timing.
No. Explain again. N is the main environment, right? So you
N is support. N is support.
So what is N+1 is actual company, right?
Project. Yes.
So from N+1 we go to project, right? We go to production, correct?
Both are going to production. The goal is everything is going to production, everything is in sync. So here's the thing, right? Let us say in end production support, right? So I make a change to one role in development, and it goes to QA, it goes to stage, and then it get retrofit to N+1 dev and N+1 QA. Clear?
Hold on. Let me think.
Okay.
Okay.
Let-
Manpreet,
So
are you able to
in my
see
no
are you able to see the
in my no hold on. Let me say in my current state we have D41, we have Q41, and we have P41. Okay, that is the end system. The N+1 system is a D42, Q42. That's it. So from P41, everything comes to D42. Then it goes to Q42, and then it goes back to D41. I think that's what we have.
that is
All
what
set.
that is what you are explaining the system, but Srikanth explained the same thing as a retrofit process. Okay, if you observe, the role A is existing development system. Okay,
Okay.
so now it's moved to QA and production, right?
Okay. Fine.
Now what they will do, they will do in reverse retrofit also, or n to n+1 also, but n to n+1 they cannot generally do. Generally they will, because of its project timelines, but I'm just explaining the process. Once the production, okay, to sync up this thing, they will do retrofit.
What do you mean by retrofit?
The same change will move to other lines.
Ah, I see.
Okay, whatever you mentioned, D1 to D1 are same thing. That is retrofit means to sync
production.
up.
So from production 41, they will move it to dev 42, correct?
Yes.
No, from stage itself, you don't have to go to production. Manpreet, they can do that. The landscape is like at the when it goes to stage, at the same time it can go to dev and QA based on the timing when you want to move it.
No, Grish, hold on. Can you put dev put a bracket under dev_n? Put dev bracket n. Dev bracket n.
Whatever.
Put a bracket here. No, put dev. So from n+1, it goes to dev n, correct?
No.
Am I right?
Either way, because see why I mentioned.
Oh, okay, either way. Okay, either
so
way.
that depends upon strategy, because you mentioned that support mode. Okay, support role A, role B, and comes to production. Okay, now once this role production, then they will move, but they will validate whether this change is impacting the project on a retrofit.
Okay.
If the role is impacting, then they will keep it hold in. They cannot change the role in development system. Okay, if the role is not impacting their project, then as a retrofit process to sync up from dev to dev systems, so the role name will move to development, then quality, because anyway the role is there.
If I understand you right, n+1 system go to the production, correct?
That is, both are linked to production only. This is a project changes, this is support changes.
Okay, can you put on project and then on the right support, put the project.
Okay.
Okay, now I got it.
So similarly, for a refresh, when it will plays a major role, suppose some configuration that went to dev, QA, and production. Okay. Now this is already 6 months project that is working, tested, all the functionalities working as per the customer expectation, that went live. Okay. Now to sync up dev to dev, they need to reconfigure, reinstall, and everything. As a sync up process, what they will do, they will refresh the system dev to dev, or maybe QA to dev. whatever it may be. Either system, that depends. They have selected the objects and everything. Okay, dev to dev they will sync up, Q to QA they will sync up. So during this refresh, the objects will be sync up with n landscape and n+1 landscape. Both changes will be same. Instead of they install, they need to configure and they need to test everything. The time refresh is one of the strategy. They can save the time. You got it?
Yeah.
So,
But not every company follows this, right, Girish?
That depends. We cannot say. Generally, they will prefer. I'm coming to that. During this
No, when I was
system,
working in Philips, they had, for example, the current project, they have 5 clients. In QA, they have 5 clients. In production, they have 1. But the other one, the old one, they also have 5. QA, they have 1 account. So what's the advantage of having 10 different clients in dev or
no,
5 different clients in dev?
okay. One more thing. The problem with they create multiple clients is generally one is the golden client. Okay, they will move one. They create complete configurations, but they cannot. They want to test it. They need to go for separate client. Okay, they move objects to different client. Similarly, functional configurations, they will configure in one specific client. They will move for testing. They need to move to objects into another client. They don't want to disturb.
No, I can understand. I can understand 2 clients, but why 5 clients? That I don't understand.
No, that they have a architecture diagram. They maintain the strategy why they can use. Definitely, one client is complete configurations and one client is a golden client, because they will move objects after testing everything completed. Then only they will move the objects. And the golden client generally they won't give access to everyone. Only basis team will monitor the objects. Also, sometimes they can call the whatever the development current client is golden client. That depends. But generally, golden client is the backup of
Like,
the standard client, where all the configurations they will move once the objects will move to quality. So
for example, Grish, for security, there's client 110, for development 210, for integration testing 211, and client is 330 data migration. So that means if I create a role in 110, then I have to move it to 210, 211, and 310, correct?
that definitely. That where
that is a lot of work, right? That's a lot of work.
No.
So my question is, what is
No. I can explain a little bit, Manpreet. I can throw some light on that. Okay. So, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
So take example. See, we have also separate client for the security. So we have configuration client, we have unit test client, we have the golden client, and we have one for security. So what we do, the golden client, the security client, what we have, we develop role over there and move the transport to the configuration mainstream, and there we create transport move to the all the way to QA system. So basically, no one will touch my no one has access. Only security team has access. That is the purpose of it. Like that, we have the configuration one client. So only configuration people have access to that. I don't have access. I have access, but I don't test anything. The bottom line is the testing will be one client. It has everything. Your roles goes there and configuration goes there. I
get your point. So that means nobody can change their security roles and everything. They go to development. They have no access there, and then integration testing and all that stuff. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, that's the purpose of it. Yeah.
So you're keeping the client safe, right?
Exactly. So because my source is that one, my gold client, security gold client.
So the gold client has both configuration and security, correct?
No.
So the golden client is 000. Am I right?
No. No. 0 client for something else. So the golden client is right.
Hold on.
Okay.
For in our case, client 1110 is configuration and security. So that becomes the golden client, correct? If I understand you right.
No, what we did was we have separate client 210. We create that role over there and we do SEC 1 to 110. The configuration.
Okay, the other way around.
There again we create transport to move to production.
Oh, I got you. Now I understand. So in order to keep your configuration and security safe, you do it there and move it to other client, correct?
Exactly. I can do in between the clients. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got you. I'm also